credit, credit, credit. Let's talk about the word credit. So, the part of speech for credit is a noun, which means it refers to a person, place, thing, or idea. In common usage, we often use credit to mean trust or faith in someone's ability or integrity. Like when you say, "I give you credit for trying your best on that difficult test." We also use it to refer to the money or value that is given to us because of something we've done, such as receiving credit on a loan or getting store credit for a purchase. By the way, did you know that in some countries like Europe, credit can also mean blame or fault? For example, if someone says, "I take credit for breaking the vase," it means they're taking responsibility for damaging it. So, when using this word, make sure to consider your audience and context to avoid any misunderstandings. In a formal setting, you might say, "I would like to extend my gratitude for your prompt payment on time," which has greatly improved our company's credit standing with this supplier. This sentence is used in an office context where you're showing appreciation for someone's timely payment. In contrast, in a casual conversation, you could say, "I'm trying to save up enough credit so I can finally get that new video game I've been eyeing." Here, the word credit refers to the money stored on a prepaid card or online account, and is used in a relaxed, everyday chat with friends. On the other hand, in a business or academic context, you might say, "In order to increase our credit score, we need to diversify our investments and reduce our debt-to-credit ratio." In this instance, credit refers to one's financial history and is used in a professional discussion about fiscal strategy. So you want to know about this concept that helps people get things they need or want without using their own money? Well, let me explain. It's an amount of money that is given to someone, usually by a third party, like a bank or a store, so they can buy something. The main characteristics are that it's not the person's own money, but rather borrowed from someone else, and it's used for a specific purpose, like buying a house or paying for education. This concept is also similar to things like favor or loan, where someone helps you with money without expecting anything in return, at least not immediately. When you have this amount of money, it allows you to make purchases or pay bills that you wouldn't be able to afford otherwise, and it can really help people achieve their goals. Cultural, cultural, cultural. So, let's talk about the word cultural. As a language teacher, I'd like to break it down for you. The word cultural is an adjective, which means it modifies or describes a noun. Common usage of this word refers to things related to the customs, traditions, values, and arts of a particular group or society. For example, the cultural exchange program allowed students to learn about different customs from around the world. You might also see it used in phrases like cultural differences or cultural identity. What's interesting is that this word can be both positive and neutral, describing something as valuable or important, but not necessarily judging its goodness or badness. It's a great word to have in your vocabulary because it shows you're interested in the nuances of different cultures. Here are 3 example sentences using the word cultural with varying levels of formality. At the museum's grand opening ceremony, the director gave a speech highlighting the significance of preserving cultural heritage and its impact on society's collective identity. In this formal context, the speaker is using the word cultural to convey a sense of shared values and traditions that transcend individual cultures. Over coffee with friends, Someone mentioned how they loved trying new foods at ethnic festivals because it was such a cool way to experience cultural differences in a fun atmosphere. Here, the casual conversation usage of cultural is more relaxed and conversational, focusing on the enjoyment of exploring different customs and traditions through food and social events. In a meeting with investors, a startup founder discussed how their company's innovative approach to language learning was influenced by cross-cultural perspectives, enabling users to appreciate cultural nuances and context-dependent expressions. In this business or academic setting, the word cultural is used in a more technical sense, emphasizing the importance of understanding cultural variations in communication and user experience. So, you know how people from different places have grown up with their own traditions, customs, and ways of doing things? Well, this idea is all about those shared patterns of behavior, knowledge, and values that are unique to a group of people. At its core, it's about the way we live our lives, what we believe in, and how we show respect for one another. Think food traditions, holidays, music, art, and even idioms. This concept is often related to things like customs, norms, values, or practices that are common among a group of people. It's used to describe the way we teach young children about right from wrong, what's important in life, and how we want them to be as they grow up. It's also connected to ideas like tradition, heritage, and identity, all those things that make us who we are. Design. 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 So, let's talk about the word design. The part of speech for design is a noun, which means it refers to a person, place, thing, or idea. In common usage, design can refer to the process of planning and creating something, like a building, a product, or even an event. It can also be used to describe a particular style or aesthetic. For example, her interior design sense is impeccable. One important note about using design is that it's often used interchangeably with plan. But in some contexts, like architecture or engineering, the term design refers specifically to the initial stage of planning and development. In a formal setting, you might say, "I am honored to design the new company logo, which was unveiled at our annual meeting last week." Here, the word design refers to the process of creating and planning a visual identity for the company. In a casual conversation, someone might say, "I'm trying to design my dream bedroom. I want it to have a minimalist aesthetic with lots of natural light." In this context, the person is using their imagination to visualize and plan out how they would like their ideal space to look. In an academic or business setting, you might refer to the designer's use of color theory and spatial reasoning when designing the new product packaging. Here, design refers to the intentional creation of a product with specific visual characteristics, and highlights the importance of understanding design principles in achieving the desired outcome. So, you know how sometimes we need to create something that looks good and is well organized, like making a plan for a project or creating a beautiful website. That's kind of what it does. It helps us think about how things should look and work together. It's like drawing a picture of how something will be put together, so everyone knows what to expect and can work towards the same goal. Mainly, it involves thinking carefully about how different parts fit together, like pieces of a puzzle, to create something that's pleasing and effective. Some people might call it blueprinting or planning, but essentially, it's all about creating a clear vision for how things should be arranged and work together.